Alright, let's begin. Chapter 21. Ilio. The sky was clear. The breeze was enough to cool me down, and the crowd at the Monarch Imperial grew with each minute. The Iron Man was a yearly time when it was all about the employees and their families. Multiple food booths were set up, tents of games for the kids were set up. It was a miniature state fair out in the parking lot. More than 100 people had entered the race, along with their partners. Wives, husbands, brothers, sisters, partners, dates, everyone was here. It was chaos, and I loved it. The beach was overcrowded, except for a place cordoned off for the surfers to land and the runners to start. It was simple. 2.5 kilometers out, 2.5 kilometers back. When the runners got back, the surfers would launch. There was a buoy set up offshore. Surfers went to the buoy and rode the waves back. Simple, right? Too much can go wrong. The rules of the race are simple, Lynette announced. There are 2 components to this race, the runner and the surfer. Each person will be timed and the times added together. If your runner is fast and your surfer slow, we add their times together, and that is the team score. It is your combined score that determines the winners. Winning team gets a one-night complimentary stay in one of the suites. Second and third place winners will receive gift certificates to one of our many restaurants. Are you ready, babe? Ilio said, leaning over for a quick kiss. We were in matching board shorts with the number 37 pinned to them. He had one of his other boards on the shore, the white one with red stripes and fins. This would be fun. You running too? Mia walked over in jogging shorts and a blue tee, with Al behind her in board shorts and a white t-shirt, and a few of her friends. Danny and I are a team, Ilio said. Who's your partner? Danny's not the only one who fell in love with the surfer. She intertwined her fingers with Al, who just happens to be my bodyguard. You two don't stand a chance against us, Al said, smiling. First prize is ours. Really, Danny said. You haven't seen Ilio surf. Don't brag, I said. Everyone has their bad days. You be quiet and do me proud, Danny told me. Runners, Lynette yelled from the starting line. Get lined up. We start in 1 minute. Good luck, Al called. I hope you can make second, because you'll never beat us. Danny. We lined up in numerical order. The judges jotted down some notes, compared them with Lynette's clipboard, and the first group was ready. I leaned against a post and stretched my right quad. And then I smelled the cologne. I didn't think they let little boys race. Noah was behind me, number 43. Hey Noah, nice to see you again. Who's your partner? Chansey is my date. He ran his hands through his hair, showing off some gold-plated watch. Good luck. I turned away. Just great. My last day here, and he's running too. Well, if he's here with Chansey, maybe he's moved on from Ilio. Maybe he's bi. I can be pleasant. We moved through the line. Mia ran. Then a few people later, it was my turn. I took off, paced myself, and enjoyed the run. I didn't expect to be fast, just needed to finish it. Ilio was the fast one on that board. Mia was doing pretty good, setting a good pace for herself. It wasn't long before she outdistanced me, and Noah ran up beside me. You do realize this race was for adults, right? Funny. You're a nice kid, so let me give you some advice. No thanks. You're just a summer fling to Ilio. When you leave for Nevada tomorrow, he'll find someone else next week. This happens around here all the time. It's a game to some of them. Sometimes it's a bit serious, but in the end, all the guests go home and move on with their lives. I didn't like what he said. It made something cringe around my stomach. It's not like that with us. That's what they all say. Maybe some of them keep in touch for a while, but it all ends. Ilio needs someone who will stay here for him, not some accountant who leaves tomorrow. Do you have a point? For a moment I had trouble catching my breath, and I think I slowed a little. Be serious. What can a little virgin boy like you offer a man like Ilio? He needs more than you can give him, not some silly little kissing game. You can't give him what he needs. I can. He's had his fling, but reality is calling. Have your fun today. I understand, but don't stand in the way of something real. He ran off like I was standing still. There was no way I could catch him. Just like my brothers, there was no way I could compete. At the first kilometer mark, I slowed to a walk and stared at the ocean. I don't know how many people passed me. Well, what did I expect? It's impossible to fall in love in a week. I'm the 22-year-old little gay virgin boy, and just like at home, I didn't fit in here. Simply put, I was another summer fling, just like Ashley had with Xandor and tore him apart. Here, at least, they tried to build me back up. I started running again, but my heart wasn't in it. Palm trees, cheering families, white, overcrowded sandy beaches, flowers everywhere. I couldn't swim, couldn't swerve. How could anyone fall in love with me, a boring accountant? So boring, even his fiancée had an affair with the best man. I finished the race, did the pass-off to Ilio, and waited by the finish line. There was one way to tell if this was a summer fling or not. Maybe it didn't matter anymore. Perhaps fling is not the issue. Maybe it's the only way to see if I have what Ilio wants. You'll notice Ilio doesn't even care if you win, Noah said softly behind me. He's just sitting out there talking to his buddies. You don't matter. Noah was right. Ilio was out in the ocean, paddling away, chatting with Mauricio, Al, Mr. Whitaker, and a couple of other guys. He pointed once back at the beach, but kept paddling away. Save yourself the pain. Just go home. He was a friend when you needed him, and you can be grateful for his help, but it can never be more than a summer fling. It's not love. You've grown dependent on him. You need to let him go. Let him be who he needs to be. He doesn't need a little boy playing at being a man. You can't compete. He doesn't love you. What can a virgin offer him anyway? My face reddened. My heart raced. What was I doing out here? What was I doing in Hawaii? I watched Ilio paddle to the buoy, round it with Mauricio, and then they both paddled like crazy for shore and caught some random wave. As fast as they were, Al passed both. Mia stood a short distance away, staring at her phone, then at me. You're right. What do I have to offer? I said to Noah. But Noah had gone. But maybe he was wrong about this. I had one chance. And then it was back to Nevada. Mia stepped toward me, but I booked it to the Monarch, my face as red as the stripe on Ilio's board. Ilio. I never expected to win this race, not with Danny's time. He tried hard, practiced every day, and didn't let me down. Danny was right. He wasn't like his brothers. Give him yoga, and he was a genius. Give him some other sport, and he couldn't compete. We didn't win, but turning him into my partner had worked. He wasn't scary, depressed any longer. Only problem? I had seen Noah on shore, talking to Danny. I had seen Noah earlier, getting in line, and he had a higher number than we did. He should have come out behind Danny, but he came out minutes ahead of him. I'll need to ask Danny about that. Mauricio and I finished the race, last year's winners, and we were in the 30s this year. Neither one of us cared. We both had other issues. Where's Danny? I asked Lynette. I've been too busy to pay attention, sorry. I laid my surfboard down on the sands. I thought it was crowded before, but it was easily double that now. But no matter where I looked, I couldn't find Danny. People had seen him cross the finish line, but no one knew what happened after that. They were too busy watching the surfers. First things first. I took the board out to the car and attached it to the rack. No Danny out here. I grabbed my shirt from the back seat and jogged back. Maybe he had gone to the bathroom and would be back in a minute. I helped clean up the beach, putting pylons away, taking chairs to the chair hauler, picking up trash. 10 minutes later, still no Danny. I would call him, but we left our phones in our room. I walked back up to Lynette. I can't find Danny anywhere. Are you sure somebody hasn't seen him? Lynette checked with the judges, some of the course monitors, and called security. Security says that just after the race, he ran to the hotel. They don't know why. I headed to the hotel, a strange, itching feeling in my stomach. Mia and Al came over, with a dozen of her friends surrounding them both. Mia leaned up close. I've got something for you. That guy security took out last night was here today, talking to Danny. Noah. The itching feeling became a lead weight. I didn't think you even saw him. In my line of work, you notice everybody. She held out her phone, and it had a number on it. This is my private number. Don't let anyone have it. Call me. I did. In response, she sent me something. I didn't get all of what he said, only the last half. What did he say? Just listen. Al wrapped an arm around his wife. With that creep around, don't let Danny out of your sight. Do you understand who you need to talk to? I nodded. I do. Mia walked over and kissed me on the cheek. You two take care of each other. I wish we didn't have to go, but our flight awaits. Tell Danny we send our love. I shook hands with them both and went into the Monarch. I didn't see Noah anywhere. Then I listened to what Mia had sent me. It started with, "Save yourself the pain. Just go home," and became worse after that. I became annoyed at Noah. By the end of the recording, I went from annoyed to angry. Danny must be in his room packing that busted old suitcase and arranging an earlier flight. He was probably too freaked out to even say goodbye. I walked over to reception. Did Danny leave any messages? Chansey stood at the desk, board shorts and bikini top, her hair wet. No, that friend of yours is a jerk. Danny? No, the other one, Noah. He's not a friend, I said. What did he do? She slammed the mouse on the desk. He dumped me right after the race. Went over to talk to Danny, and then he dumped me. Danny looked like he wanted to cry, and after what that kid's been through, Where's Danny now? Down in the lotion room. Oh, he wanted me to tell you when you came in that he needed to speak to you. It sounded urgent. Urgent wasn't the right word. Disastrous would be a better one. Danny was getting ready to go. I had heard the message, and I could punch Noah. Call Danny and tell him I'm on my way. I have to make a stop first. One stop, one purchase. I didn't want him to leave today or tomorrow, in a week or a month. We had the barbecue, surfing, and I had something special planned for tonight. Noah had ruined it. I made my purchase and sprinted down to the room. Danny and I wore matching board trunks, and I wondered if that was the case anymore. He'd be back to button-down shirts and full-length slacks and sensible shoes. He'd be Daniel again. I hope not, because I love the man he had transformed into this last week. I was no good at these kinds of conversations. How do you tell the man you love that you want him to stay with you forever without sounding like some possessive creep, without sounding like Noah? My family was expecting us, my friends as well, and this was going to be one of those long, messy conversations. Maybe I should call them, except my phone was in the room. That was just procrastination. I slid the key card in and opened the door. It was weirder than I thought. Way, 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 way weirder. I don't think the bouquet of flowers I bought would help at all. Danny. 5 minutes. I know what I have to do, and it scares me so much my knees started shaking as I entered the lobby. Chansey was at the front desk, combing her fingers through her wet hair. The guy you were talking to? I hate him. Ilio? No. Chansey finished her hair and randomly moved things on the reception desk. Noah. I hate him. Join the club. When Ilio comes in, tell him I need to see him. As long as he doesn't come in with Noah. She said his name like it was a swear word. I relate. Still, Noah did make a few good points. I couldn't compete against a guy like that. What would Ilio see in a boring virgin accountant anyway? Like it or not, I would be leaving tomorrow, and Ilio's summer fling would be over. It's not much of a fling with a virgin. No, I couldn't compete. Not me. I wasn't man enough to keep Ashley and Xander from having an affair. There was no way I could keep a man like Ilio interested in me. This week had been fun, and he had changed my life. Never would I go back to what I was before. Board shorts and tie-dyed t-shirts were the new me. No matter how you looked at it, I was still boring. I walked into the room. Time to get ready. One shot. That's all I have. The room phone rang, and Chansey was on the other end. Ilio just came in and told me to tell you he's on his way. Give him a few minutes.